Have you ever felt that you don't fit into a box that society calls a job? All year, you wake up full of cortisol, missing your third alarm, immediately rushing out the door, hoping you have enough time to make your mocha frap latte with 3 shots of espresso, only to get to your office chair just to do another addition to your mundane life. It's repetitive. There's a routine. You're comfortable. Water cooler is broken for the 5th time this year. And your seat doesn't recline properly, which leads you to think, is there more to this? Maybe. A 9 to 5 just isn't for you. Lately, I've been thinking about 29 years, why it was so difficult for me to get a job in general, especially when I was going into music and cooking and all these different things. And then I thought, why do people get jobs in the first place? Then I came to the conclusion it's actually really simple. Security. People want security. They want a steady paycheck with benefits, with the peace knowing that money's coming through the door consistently. And for many people, jobs provide structure, clear path to follow, promotions to aim for, accolades to strive for, and a sense of purpose that's tied to your work. But if you're like me, for some of us, that structure feels a little bit less like stability and more like a cage. And if you're watching this video, I know for a fact you're like me, where you crave freedom, you crave creativity, and you crave ownership of whatever it is that you're building. And that's where my story begins. When I started door-to-door sales, I thought it was a perfect fit. It was gritty, it was consistent, it was a hustle, and it promised like an unlimited potential if you worked hard enough. I liked the idea of controlling my income, of what you put in is what you get out, inputs equals outputs, etc., etc., etc. And at first, it was exciting. I mean, literally, it was door-to-door sales. I was selling everything under the sun, from charities to credit cards to phones. It really didn't matter. The point is that knocking on doors, pitching products, and facing constant rejection taught me grit, taught me to have thicker skin, you know? And it kind of felt like it was sharpening my skills, learning how to communicate, sell, adapting, how to overturn a rejection, etc., etc., etc. But there was another side to it. It consisted of long hours, constant pressure, and a nagging feeling that I wasn't using my full potential. But I figured the better that I got at it and the higher I strive for, the better it would get, right? So 6 months went by and I was constantly reassured that I was getting better from my leaders and my colleagues. And if I didn't, I had to show up for my team, I had to try harder, I had to stay out later. But my bank account didn't reflect the amount of work that I was putting in. I mean, I'll give you a really great example. There were some points in the sales experience that I was literally out until 10 p.m., like still trying to get a sale, you know? And that was a problem because that was the moment that I knew I had to get out. It wasn't necessarily something dramatic as like, oh, somebody slammed the door on me too many times or it was a failed sale. It just came from 2 people who knew me better than myself. My girlfriend at the time, this is about maybe almost 2 years ago, sat me down one day and we were driving to her apartment after I just come home like literally exhausted. She looked me straight in the eye and said, "You're too talented for this. Why are you doing this in the first place?" You know, just as I just told you, you know? Not long after, my dad literally told me the same thing. And I was just like, dang. Hearing that from them, it felt like a ton of bricks, to be honest. And it wasn't just their words. It was the fact that deep down, I already knew that they were right. I realized that I wasn't passionate about what I was doing or what I was selling, or not even passionate, just purposeful, right? I wasn't necessarily building something that I cared about. And if you know anything about sales, once you lose belief in product, it's over. Like all of your sales go away. You don't want to show up to the office. You don't want to sell anymore. Because what I was actually doing was I was chasing a paycheck, not what mattered to me. And that's when it hit me. I realized the biggest realization that probably a lot of you that are watching this video lack, and that's that I'm unemployable. And maybe so are you. And when I say that, I don't mean not in the sense that I can't work hard or I can't do the work, right? It's like I thrive in friction, right? In the challenges. And you might too. But I'm employable in the sense that I can't thrive working for somebody else's vision. I personally needed to build something of my own, something that aligned with my skills, my values, and my ambition. Door-to-door sales taught me everything that I needed to, being disciplined, how to deal with rejection in every aspect of my life, how to communicate with people in all walks of life, right? But also taught me what I didn't want, which is I didn't want to trade my time for somebody else's dream. I didn't want to measure success by sales quotas alone. And I didn't want to live a life that didn't feel like mine. And I'll be honest, walking away wasn't easy. I didn't have a roadmap, no clear idea of what I'd do next, but I knew I had to bet on myself. So in the meantime, I had to make money, right? So I had bills to pay. And that led me to get into Uber for about 3 or 4 months before I actually started my business, which I currently have. And that led me to explore my strengths, right? Which is essentially storytelling, ad work, building businesses. And I started crafting a life that fit me, a life where I can actually follow a vision that's mine. So looking back, door-to-door sales wasn't necessarily a mistake. It was just a stepping stone. It taught me the lessons I needed to learn so I could move forward. And now I own a 6-figure social media marketing agency and am currently developing an ad agency for appointment setting that has provided more energy and more excitement in my life. If you ever feel like you're stuck in a job that doesn't necessarily align with your talents, take a moment to ask yourself, am I chasing someone else's dream or building my own? So you just watched a video on why I'm unemployable, and you probably are too. So please subscribe. And if you want to watch a video on what I did next in order to get over performance anxiety, click the video to watch here. If you're a business that does an in-home improvement service like floors, roofers, kitchen, bathroom installers, and you need a consistent way to make more leads come through the door to set up appointments so that way you can make more transactions and change your life forever, click the link in the description, set up an appointment with me and my team, and I look forward to talking to you. Otherwise, I hope you have a great day, and I'll see you in the next one. Peace.